Hi everyone. Today we're going to look at Ezekiel chapter 11. We'll first of all read 1 to 13. Here we're going to the vision of Ezekiel is continuing. Last week when we read 10, we read about the men who were sent out to kill by God, sent out to kill the evil people of Jerusalem, and the one man dressed in linen who was to mark the forehead of the people who were true worshipers of the true God. So today the vision continues. Then the Spirit lifted me up and brought me to the gate of the house of the Lord that faces east. There at the entrance of the gate were 25 men, and I saw among them Jezaniah, son of Azur, and Pelatiah, son of Benaniah, leaders of the people. The Lord said to me, Son of man, these are the men who are plotting evil and giving wicked advice in this city. They say, haven't our houses been recently rebuilt? This city is a pot, and we are the meat in it. Therefore, prophesy against them, Son of man. Prophesy. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on me, and he told me to say, this is what the Lord says. This is what you are saying, you leaders in Israel. But I know what's going through your mind. You have killed many of the people in this city and filled its streets with the dead. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. The bodies you have thrown there are the meat, and this city is the pot, but I will drive you out of it. You fear the sword, and the sword is what I will bring against you, declares the sovereign Lord. I will drive you out of the city and deliver you into the hands of foreigners and inflict punishment on you. You will fall by the sword, and I will execute judgment on you at the borders of Israel. Then you will know that I am the Lord. This city will not be a pot for you, nor will you be the meat. I will execute judgment on you at the borders of Israel, and you will know that I am the Lord, for you have not allowed my decrees or kept my laws, but have conformed to the standards of the nations around you. Now as I was prophesying, Pelatiah, son of Benaniah, died. Then I fell face down and cried out in a loud voice, Alas, sovereign Lord, will you completely destroy the remnant of Israel? So here we have Ezekiel having a psychic moment, seeing what's going on in Jerusalem, even as he is living in exile in Babylon. And he sees these 25 men at the east gate where the business of the city was conducted. And they have filled the vacuum, the void left by those who have been taken into captivity, the real leaders, the real educated people. And these 25 evil men are smug because they have rebuilt their houses that were destroyed when Nebuchadnezzar marched into the city and in the first wave of destruction. And so they are smug, but God says, hold on now, not so fast. You're going to come to a bad end, is what it really is the summary of it. And verse 7, in verse 7, we have the irony where God says, you think you're safe, you think you are the meat of the city. You think you're so good, but hold on, you're not safe. The only safe people left in the city are the people that you have killed. The dead are the only ones who are safe. And so God is condemning, of course, still the people in the city. They haven't gotten to the root of why their city was destroyed. Hey, if we turn back to our true God, if we take away these idols, if we restore the temple, then we will be blessed. But they're blind. They don't see how they have brought this destruction on themselves. One writer says such blindness is not uncommon. When riots break out, it is one thing to crush the riot, but it's altogether more important to seek the roots of the riots and seek the cure. So, to rebuild the houses of the holy city, but not address the unholiness that led to their collapse, was just plain stupid. Then when we see Pelatiah, one of the leaders, fall dead as Ezekiel was there in spirit prophesying, this really got to Ezekiel. He says here, when he sees this Pelatiah die, will you completely destroy the remnant of Israel? Even Ezekiel is not realizing yet that the promise of restoration lies not in these people who are still in Jerusalem at this time. The restoration lies in those who are in exile. And so God has to tell Ezekiel what his plan is, what his promise is. And so in Ezekiel 11:14, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, the people of Jerusalem have said of your fellow exiles and all the other Israelites, they are far from the Lord. This land was given to us for our possession. Remember that the people thought the Lord lived in the temple, and the people left in Jerusalem are in possession of the temple. So therefore they think they're in possession of the Lord. But remember that the first vision of Ezekiel, the Lord showed Ezekiel that he was with his people in exile. The chariot, the cherubim, the fire, all show God was with the people in exile. And here in this part of the book of Ezekiel, we're going to see the Lord actually exit the temple. He's standing here. The Lord has already left the threshold of the temple. He's standing at the east gate. He's moving away from the temple. And in verse 16, God says, therefore say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Although I sent them far away among the nations and scattered them among the countries, yet for a little while I have been a sanctuary for them in the countries where they have gone. God's telling Ezekiel and the exiles, hey, I'm with you. For a little while I have left my holy city, and I am with you. Therefore say, this is what the sovereign Lord says, I will gather you from the nations and bring you back from the countries where you have been scattered. And I will give you back the land of Israel again. Here is God's promise. You exiles, you will be back. The land will be yours again. They will return to it and remove all its vile images and detestable idols. I will give them an undivided heart and put a new spirit in them. I will remove from them their heart of stone and give them a heart of flesh. Then they will follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. They will be my people, and I will be their God. But as for those whose hearts are devoted to their vile images and detestable idols, I will bring down on their heads what they have done, declares the sovereign God. So the Lord is promising a new heart in those exiles, turning their heart of stone into a heart of flesh, a heart eager to follow God. Then in verse 22, we see the exit of God from his holy city. Then the cherubim with the wheels beside them spread their wings, and the glory of the God of Israel was above them. The glory of the Lord went up from within the city and stopped above the mountain east of it. The Spirit lifted me up and brought me to the exiles in Babylonia in the vision given by the Spirit of God. Then the vision I had seen went up from me, And I told the exiles everything the Lord had shown me. So here, Ezekiel is turning from prophet to missionary, telling the people what God is doing in Israel and what God is going to do for the exiles in Babylon. God has exited his city, but he will be back, and so will the exiles. This is a great promise of God, that to all who love him and follow him, he promises restoration. I hope you have a good week. Next week we'll be looking at chapter 12.